Here we are with U3, solve a system of equations by graphing. This time we're going to take our information from word problems. Guys, do not freak out. You can do this. You've been doing this. If you notice, our first problem is actually something that you'll be really excited about because you know how to do this, so you're good. So let's go ahead and step in and go ahead and get started. Jim wants to make scrapbooks with old family photos. An online scrapbooking company charges $10 for a basic book and $2 per page. Meanwhile, a family friend is willing to make a scrapbook for $25 plus $1 per page. For a certain number of pages, the price will be equal. How many pages would that be? Write a system of equations, graph them, and type the solution. So let's talk about the first scrapbooking company. We have the online scrapbooking company, and they are going to charge us $10 plus $2 per page. Well, the $10, we're going to have to pay that regardless of what we get, so that's going to be our B. And then $2 per page, that's going to be our slope, so we end up with 2x plus 10. That's what our first equation is, and we could really put the y there. And then our family friend, I'm going to put FF for family friend. They said, hey, don't worry about it. I got you. You pay me $25 to start with, and just pay me $1 per page. So that's the two equations that we have there. Now we're just going to graph them. So notice that the pages are on the x-axis because the pages is the input. How many pages you get determines how much you pay. So we have our cost. Let's go with the company here. Our cost is $10 and $2 per page. Now if you notice here, these numbers are not really friendly. It's not like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like we're used to. So I'm going to give you a little trick. Look at your X. Look at your X. I'm going to click that off. Look at your X down here. Whatever those numbers are, try to make it so that your X and your Y's are what you see. And I'll show you what I mean by that. I could technically go 2 times 1 plus 10. Well, that would be 12. Well, I don't have a 12 on this graph. But I do have a 5 right here. So let's see what would happen if I put in 5. So if I said 2 times 5 plus 10, well, 2 times 5 is 10 plus 10, well then y would be 20. Do I have a y as a 20? I do. So I go over here to 5, right here, and plot 20. Let's go ahead and look at our family friend. Well, the family friend says, hey, I'm going to charge you $25 plus $1 per page. Again, look at your graph. It's in 5s. So I know I can't use 1 here because then that would be 26. I could use 5 here as well. So let's do y is equal to 1 multiplied by 5 plus 25. So we get y is equal to 5 plus 25. Therefore, y is equal to 30. Well, I have that. That's easy. So here's my 5. Go up to 30. Click that. Now look, it's already done our answer for us. So the number of pages would be 15. That's when it's the same. Let's do another. All right, so this time we've got Andy is comparing the cost of a fresh lobster dinner at 2 different restaurants. The first restaurant charges $40 for the meal plus $4 per pound for the lobster he picks. At the second restaurant, Andy would pay $2 per pound for the lobster in addition to $50 for the meal. Andy realizes that in theory, a dinner at both restaurants would cost the same amount if the lobster had a certain weight. How much would Andy pay for his dinner? All right, so restaurant 1, we've got $40 for the meal. The total cost is equal to the first $40 that we pay plus the $4 per pound for the lobster. Restaurant 2, let me put this one here. Restaurant 2, however, is $50 for the meal and $2 per pound. So again, look at your graph. So here's the weight, that's our X, the total that we pay as our Y. And because we have 1, 2, 3, 4 down here, we can use those numbers. That would be fine. I'm going to caution you though, look at your Y axis. So you kind of want to stick with things that are maybe ending with a 0. So if I put 1 here, that would give me 4 times 1 plus 4 is 44. Well, if I go over here to 1 and up, I can't really tell where 44 is, so I don't want to use that. Let's try, I don't know, what would be easy? Let's just try 5. So we'll do 4 multiplied by 5 plus 40. So y is equal to 20 plus 40. Y is equal to 60. So I used 5 as my input. Well, I know, let me graph my y-intercept first. Y, and then I go over here. I'm using 5 as my input, and my output is 60. So there's my first line. Let's do the same thing over here. Well, again, you want to stick with numbers that are easy to graph. So I'm going to try 5 again. So we have 2 times 5 plus 50. Y is equal to 10 plus 50. Y is equal to 60. So I'm going to start with my y-intercept at, wrong line, here we go. Start my y-intercept at 50. I'm going to go over to 5 and up to 60. Well, look at there. They crossed on their own. So the dollars at which they are the same, they're not asking about the x-axis. They're not asking about the weight, so be careful. They're asking about how much it costs, which is on the y-axis in this case, and it would be $60. All right, so this time we've got a group that's traveling, and it says two groups of workers are painting a bridge in the bay. The first group is responsible for painting the north side of the bridge, and the second group is responsible for painting the south side of the bridge. The first group has already painted 2 kilometers of the bridge and is painting an additional 2 kilometers per day. The second group has already painted 4 kilometers of the bridge and is painting 1 additional kilometer per day. When the two groups have painted the same amount of the bridge, how much of the bridge will they have painted? So let's do group 1. And over here we'll do group 2. Well, group 1, they had already painted 2 kilometers and they're painting 2 per day. So y is equal to 2x plus 2. Group 2, on the other hand, they started with 4 and they're only painting 1 per day. But at some point they will have painted the same amount of kilometers of the bridge. So again, look at your axis. This is how many days, this is how much they will have painted in kilometers. So this one, because because your increments, that's the word I want, is in 1, then that's what you want to do. So we have y is equal to, let's use 2 multiplied by 1 plus 2. So we have 2 plus 2, y is equal to 4. So that says when the first group paints 1 day, they will paint 4. So I can't forget, though, to start at my y-intercept, which is 2. And then when they paint 1, they will have painted, when they paint 1 day, they will have painted 4 kilometers. Let's go ahead to the second group. Start at our y-axis. They've already painted 4. Well, if we say, okay, on their first day, we have y is equal to, well, 1 times 1 is 1, plus 4. Y is equal to 5. So when we put in 1 for the first day, we get out 5. And the point at which they will have painted the same number of kilometers is on day 2, and they will have painted 6. So be really careful with these. I don't think it's so much writing the equations as being very careful how you graph. So if you need any help on this, please let me know. I'll be glad to help you. See you next time.